Hi, welcome to the April 2021 meeting of the Baton Rouge Astronomical Society. Tonight's speaker is going to be our former president, Melanie Templet, who is now in New Mexico. And tonight she's going to be talking to us about her experiences with the local observatory they put together out there for the public. So unless anybody has something else they want to add to the introduction, or perhaps not, we'll just hand it over to Melanie and let her go ahead and give the program away. Melanie, you with us? Muted.
Oh my gosh. It's nice to know that some things don't change. It's nice to know that some things just absolutely don't change. Cool. Can you guys all hear me
Yes.
and see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome sauce.
We're good.
We moved out to New Mexico after being, Louisiana natives in 1999. And what happened was, because I knew this, I was working at Galvez Public Library and got a phone call from Greg Guzik. And I'm not usually speechless. And when Dr. Guzik calls up and says, "So hey, you want to build an observatory?" And I'm like, okay, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. So we wrote the initial $140,000 grant to be able to start this observatory to be built. We knew that it could be done, and so we came out here and thought, oh my gosh, we came from Baton Rouge with air you could see, and just have this wonderful facility. How about we do something very similar to that out here in New Mexico, where you can't see the air, and we have this really cool you can see the Milky Way from our backyard in town, so it's kind of a bit of a different situation, and thought, hey, so I went to Mayor number one and said, what do you think? This is something we did in Baton Rouge. Now we hooked with LSU, so that made it a little bit more financially viable. But but what do you think? And he goes, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. Let's do it. And so of course, we had no telescopes, just the idea. So what we were doing at this point is outreach. We went to Mayor Sunday's Fun Day, which is this thing right here with the easy up and our little sign and everybody all set up. And then we do Girl Scout things, we do school stuff, we do things at Chaco Canyon. We helped finish up an observatory at Rio Rancho High School, and then just kind of just stuff all around town, and kind of doing stuff for, C&M, which is our local community college here, and stuff, and different parks. And so we did all this stuff and just kept working. So basically we worked and worked and worked until, this is the telescope that started everything. This telescope was donated to, it's a 25-inch obsession. It was donated to Rio Rancho High School because it was destined to be the mainstay at the Chaco Canyon Observatory, which is the one where this guy is on the ladder. Come to find out, when they built the dome, it was an F5, and it was a foot too long to fit into the dome. So they were like, okay, well, now we have to buy a telescope. What are we going to do with this telescope? They donated it to the Rio Rancho High School astronomy program, and that's where it all started. Here's me in 1999, 2000, and then this little guy standing right here is still one of our members. So it's kind of
Melanie,
cool.
I don't think there's. I don't think your slideshow is actually progressing.
Yeah, we're not.
It's not running.
We're still just seeing the PowerPoint presentation thing, not the full screen slideshow thing.
Hang on. How do we do this? Okay, let's see here.
I think we've seen this before. It's try sharing either the complete screen or the application. Or
how's that?
Yeah, I think if you share your entire screen and then switch over to the thing.
Can you see it now?
Let's see. Change around to a couple of different. I see a giant blank white screen.
Oh, that is so weird. What do you guys think? I'm not used to this platform.
Yeah, everybody. It's everybody does the same thing. I think if you share your screen and then it's either try sharing the application window and then switching over the application and running the Jitsi in the background. See if you can do that. And then just hit play on the thing and let's see if it plays.
How's that? Can you see it now?
Yeah, that one's not, it's not, well, let's see, we've done the donated scopes and so it begins, but we're on that page now.
You're on this
try
page now?
changing pages. Yeah, try changing, we're on page, what is this? 4. Can you change it to a different page?
I just did.
Okay, it's not. Okay,
Suggestions?
We'll try it the other way where we share the application window.
Okay. See, we use Zoom for everything. In my
Scott's too cheap for Zoom.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
At this point, I've saved
right.
Can you see everybody?
Yep.
You can see everybody. Now, what about now? Can you see my little presentation?
Yeah, I can see the presentation and yep, change to.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it.
got it.
That's
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
always one or the other. It's one of those things. It's like the.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like somebody gets into your standard car and you have to explain how to drive a stick. Everybody's so used to automatic at this point, they just assume the car is undrivable.
Yeah. Okay, so now you guys see that everything. Can you see my cursor too, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This little guy is still a member of the club, which is funny. He was in high school at this time. But this guy that was helping with Chaco's observatory was named John Sefik, and he had this awesome telescope and was tired of carrying it around. And I understand because Walt Cooney had one of these things, and I know how it takes 4 people to lift up that mirror. Gosh, it's not easy to carry around. And at this time, we're on mayor number 2. And mayor number 2 goes, okay, yes, this is a great idea. Go pick a park. And just left me alone. It's like, okay. Then he got impeached and all this fun stuff. That's a whole nother story and a whole nother slideshow. But so we were still trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? Because we've got this amazing telescope. Where do we put it? Then one of my club members called me up and he said, hey, somebody wants to donate homemade telescopes to the club. And if you guys have ever seen homemade telescopes, you guys have the same thought that I did. We like toilet paper rolls, bubble gum, spit, and a few other, and basically rubber cement and stuff like this. And I thought, all right, let's go take a look. So we walk up on this building here in East Rio Rancho, and this roof closes over the top. And I'm like, okay. And they opened the roof. They opened the door to this building and saw these 2 telescopes. This guy handmade these 2 telescopes. He was a machinist from back east, and the setting circles on these 2 telescopes, you can tell that they are handmade because as you look at them, you can see that the numbers are stamped and the numbers don't quite line up. So everything is perfectly machined and wonderful stuff to be able to do these telescopes. It's a 12.5-inch Newtonian and a 16-inch Schmidt Cassegrain. The optics on these telescopes are absolutely fabulous. The motors are a different story. We're still kind of struggling with them right now because he built them. There's no manuals, and so it's kind of like, yeah, let's do this. And it was just him. And when his family didn't know what to do with him, we're like, we'll take them and put together an observatory. So of course now we've got the telescopes, and so now what do we do? So we began to start thinking about what do we want to do, because we didn't have the funding to be able to recreate what was in Baton Rouge, but we could do something different. And we were looking around in Kiwanis, the Chico County Observatory in Chico, California, has a roll-off roof building and this open air planetarium kind of set up. And I thought that's kind of cool. In New Mexico, though, if you dig a hole this deep in the caliche that's out by the observatory, you'd have a 60-foot swimming pool, but after it's rained in the summertime, because the caliche just doesn't drain. So we thought this is not going to work as far as digging a hole in the ground, but it'd be nice to have an open air planetarium because we don't need power. or anything. We just need the sky because we have such beautiful skies.
Yeah.
Now we're on mayor number 3. Mayor number 3 was like, yeah, this is great. Mayor number 3 thought this is a good idea. I want you, since you have the telescopes, to go pick a park. So we looked around. We have 12 parks in Rio Rancho, and like I said, Rio Rancho, you can still see the Milky Way here. We had an outdoor lighting task force that actually did some good to things, and kind of keep the lights, a little bit at bay in certain areas of the city. This is on the western side of the city. The neighborhood that's around it, you can see the houses back over here. They don't have street lights per se. They have the yard torches in the front of the houses. So it's not this gigantic lighting area, but there is a pool right here. This is Rainbow Park pool. And these big lights here, we have an agreement with the city that when we have an event at the observatory, they turn the lights off for us, and they turn the parking lots off. So we can have a dark site and be able to see the to see the to see the I'm gonna move this thing over here
Sky.
to see the to see the sky and stuff like that. So this is where the building's going to be, and this is where the open air planetarium is going to be. Then we had, okay, we got all this stuff. Now how do we do a building? How do we build this building? And I work at a private school in Albuquerque, and one of the kids, I was talking to him, he's a Boy Scout, and I was talking to him, and he goes, my dad's an architect, and I bet he would be able to work with you and do some stuff. So he actually designed our roll-off roof building where we have the observatory and a meeting room, and I'm not really sure why he has doors leading out of the observatory out to the back, but that's okay. We won't discuss that anymore. It's totally weird. But it was going to be a roll-off roof situation where the roof would roll off onto supports, and we'd still have a meeting room. It's 36 by 16. Basically, the whole building is double in size, and it's kind of cool. We thought, hey, it'll be big enough. And I kept telling them, guys, we build it and they're gonna come. And the very first meeting we ever had, we filled this little room up so tight we could hardly move. But it was cool. We haven't done that in a while, so we can do things outside too. So it kind of helps out a little bit. Groundbreaking. This is mayor number 3 still. And this is 2011. We moved out here in 1999. So we have worked this far to be able to get to this point, in this observatory. These are people that were significant in building. Darren, my husband, one of our founding members, the Parks and Rec guy, the mayor, me. This little guy right here is the sweetest thing ever. He is the owner of all the McDonald's in Sandoval County, and he helped get some funding, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And here's the city councilman for the area, and then one of our other members and some other people. This is the architect as well. So we got everybody in line to be able to break ground for this thing, and we could start the building for stuff. Then we started fundraising, because we thought, we're going to have to help the city. We're going to have to help, because the agreement was that the city was going to take care of the building and the grounds, and we would take care of everything on the inside. So it would kind of, divide the responsibility up a little bit, with the governance of this facility. We started doing fundraising, in October, right about the time we did our groundbreaking. The first time we had a local business donate the food, and we sold tickets, and that didn't fly so well. So we thought, hey, what the heck? And Papa Murphy's has a portable oven. And so they actually bring the oven out and set up this little thing that you see back here in the back, by the pool building. And he bakes pizzas on site, and he donates every bit of the profit, of the donations that he gets from this to the club, which is super awesome. Super nice guy. He's been with us for quite a few years now, and so we call him every time we have an event. Then the building starts. We ended up where mayor number 4 comes in right after the pad is poured. And because of the funding situation that happened back in the day, whenever the mayor number 4 came in, I was afraid that we were going to lose all of our funding. What happened was the city councilman actually earmarked the funding, earmarked $20,000 for us, and said, no, this group, this is the sole use of this money. No one else can take it. No one else can go anywhere with it. So we had $20,000, but we needed a little bit more to finish the whole building up. And that's where Julian Garza, the McDonald's guy, comes in, where he called Sandoval County Commission and said, and he's calling these guys, and we're sitting at one of the McDonald's, and he calls us the commissioners, and he goes, so how do you feel about heavenly bodies? And I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna just die right now. Thank you, Julian. Here's this guy old enough to be my grandfather calling all these commissioners on and asking these, but we got $11,000. I mean, we only got $15,000 to finish the observatory. So between the city and Sandoval County Commission, it cost, this building cost about $31,000, and everything else was donated. We have 3 young men that one poured the pad, one framed the building, one poured the walkouts from the buildings, and we had 3 Eagle Scouts before the building was finished with what they did. Lafarge donated all the concrete for us to be able to put the observatory onto, and to put the walk around that I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit as well. So we had the building, which was lovely, to be able to get the building up and running, and to be able to have a place to put the telescopes. So then we keep on moving. The city basically kept telling us that it was a shed, which is totally fine, because as a result, it has no bathroom. But the Rainbow Park is the only park in town that has an outdoor accessible bathroom, so it makes it perfect. And it's just around the corner of the pool, and there's a bathroom there. We designed the roll-off roof. That didn't work really well the first time, because when you have Boy Scouts frame a building and professionals do the roof, the building's not quite square. The roof is square, but the building's not. So as a result, it doesn't run so well in the tracks as it used to. It would bind up. We had one time that we had to actually lever it off with a pry bar to be able to get it back on the roof. So we ended up where one of our club members is a member of the Corvette Club, and they machined some stuff for us. We have a flat piece of metal and a grooved piece of metal that we have grooved wheels that follow along on the groove, on the track, and the other wheels on the flat can kind of shimmy as the roof comes off and on the building. It works. It was totally okay. And because it was a shed, they wouldn't let us insulate and drywall the front building at first. And then we had our first meeting, and it was in November. And November here it was November. No, it was January. And January here can get pretty chilly. So after that meeting, we decided, we went over to Lowe's and said, hey, look, what can you do for us? And they actually gave us a screaming deal on the insulation and the drywall. And we did the drywall and insulation ourselves. We had Civitan people come out and help us. We've had Intel people come out and help us, because Intel has to do community service, and just kind of have a whole bunch of community involvement on this facility. Every time we talk about it, it's like, oh yeah, I've looked through those telescopes. I would be more than happy to help. So after the building was kind of pulled together and everything, then we installed the telescopes. That was easier said than done, a lot of things, because these guys were handmade. And so we had to take them out of the building that they were in. And because the guy had built the building for his own purposes, it didn't matter if it was code. So we had to make the piers tall enough to be able to make the roof tall enough to meet code for a city building. So we carry these big old heavy telescopes around and install them in the facility. Once you get the telescopes in and the roof off, we have this little set right here. There are 2 boat winches. One pulls the roof on and one pulls the roof off. It's not not at all motorized or anything, but hey, it opens up the roof to be able to deploy these telescopes out into to be able to be used. So here's the building as it stood at ready to be able to have our first event. We now at this point we had 5 telescopes that were donated to us. This telescope right here is a 10-inch LX200, and then we've got the 25-inch Obsession, and there's one in here that you can't see. Another 10-inch. No, it's a 14-inch Meade that was donated to the high school, and so we got all of the telescopes from the high school and be able to put them in here, so that way we can use them, because the high school at first didn't have a whole bunch of construction around it, and now the high school is so built up, and we had actually one stargaze at the high school that we had to fight a football game, which of course the field lights were really fun to have a stargaze right next to. So not a happy thing. So after 3 years, 3 years after the groundbreaking, we had our dedication night. We put a plaque up on the outside of the building, and within 24 hours, it had this X across it. You can actually see that it was vandalized here. So we took the vandalization off and put it inside the building. We listed all the people that had either donated time, blood, sweat, and tears, and listed the troops that they were at. And our first guest speaker for our, for our grand opening was Dr. Alan Hale. And we'd been doing some work beforehand. So I'm like, dude, you need to come pay back. I helped you out on this. You need to come talk about this and everything. So we had ribbon cutting for the observatory, and just, lots of kids and all kind of fun things at the observatory that evening, activities for the kids and stuff like this. Then we're still working on trying to figure out the rest of the observatory, because it wasn't complete yet. We were trying to get the concrete work around to be able to walk around and then lay the concrete foundation for the open air planetarium that we were going to be putting on the ground at some point again. So we are still mayor number 3, which is still kind of cool, because he had he had 2 terms back to back. So we're still trying to do the fundraising, and Dr. Harrison Schmidt, second to last guy to walk on the moon, actually lives in Albuquerque, and I had been talking to him about coming out and talking to our observatory, or to our group, and he's like, yeah, sure. So he came out and talked to us on our 4th night under the stars, and was able to. We made, I think it was $4,000 that night, because he had his book, and he only signs his book. He doesn't sign headshots, and 2 of the books went for $1,000 a piece. I'm like, oh my gosh, So it was basically by far the most lucrative of all of our fundraising events, because of Jack's talk that evening. So that was kind of cool. Then we're coming into being able to lay the concrete, and this is an interactive sundial in the middle of the open air planetarium. One of our local businesses has helped us do with the funding for purchasing some of the stuff in here, and another granite rock stone place donated all the pieces of granite to be able to put them in there. There's 12 benches. They are 8 feet long and tilt back just a little bit. So whenever you sit in them, you rocked backward and be able to look up at the sky like a planetarium bench. It's 60 feet in diameter, and then here's the planetarium in the interactive sundial. Standing on the month, your shadow tells the time. And we have had one of our representatives in our state try to make us stay on daylight saving time the whole time. And every time he does it, I keep fussing at him, because, tell me our observatory, our sundial is going to be off. It's crazy. No. And so then 2015, we have our sundial finally. And then we had some special guests come that evening. I love Boba Fett telling his time on the sundial, which was kind of cool. And this is mayor number 4 now on this part, because this is mayor number 4, and he had the kids cut the ribbon for the planetarium. Each one of the benches has, I don't have a picture of it, which is like, I'm sad. I thought I had a better picture of it in there. Each one of the benches has a zodiac sign on it. So there's the 12 benches, each one of the zodiac signs, and the constellation is you can kind of see it a little bit here. The constellation is plasma cut into each one of the benches. So they have one of the, and they're chronological around the circle. People go, I want to go sit on my bench. I want to go, so it's okay. We'll go sit on your bench. That's super cool. And we were playing with the alignment of this circle, and it ended up where this is absolutely north, south, east, and west. So whenever we decided to the placement of these benches, we thought let's do the north, south, east, and west, the coordinates, and that way people can kind of just sit there and play with it a little bit more. Then we started, doing, I mean, we've done outreach since the very beginning. Our club started in 1998. And so the year right before we got here. And so we've done outreach for the whole time that we've been on the ground. We've done astronomical events. These two pictures here, we were a movie set for one of the kids that graduated from Rio Rancho High School is out in California doing movies and stuff now. And so we were a movie set for one of his movies for which was kind of cool and fun. We've done Girl Scouts and high school labs because we are a good place to be because of the Milky Way and stuff. This is kind of a misnomer here because the pool lights are on. This was a lunar eclipse, so we didn't thought, hey, it's not going to be a big deal. It's full moon, we won't be able to see too much. And back whenever I was in Baton Rouge, we would go out to the science expos, the science fairs, and do judging and be able to give out prizes and stuff. And we still do that at Rio Rancho's expo. We give a cash award for excellence in astronomy research, and so that we've kept that up. This little kid went on to regionals. She basically recreated the Martian, and to see what she collected her her family's poop and had to have the human subject kind of thing, and she actually grew plants and was kind of pleased with herself that she was able to grow plants. That, hey, the guy on the Martian, it was okay science. I'm like, okay. Whatever. Her family was not really happy with her, but it's okay. It worked out pretty well. Then we tried to finish up the last two things that were on my list of things to do. On the south side of the observatory, there was just kind of an open, unsmooth area underneath there, and we wanted to do a brick patio with engraved bricks on it. So contacted another Boy Scout troop. Actually, another Boy Scout troop was contacting me. One of my kids at prep was like, I need to do an Eagle Scout project. Do you have something? And he did. Out here in this middle picture here, his dad is a contractor, and he graded this area where the club can park. The big parking lot is on the far south side of the facility where they can park, but the club needs to pull up and unload telescopes and stuff. And even though this is called a shed, we were getting so much stuff, we had to get a container. So we got one of the C-tainers to be able to put on the side right there. So now we have our storage at the observatory, so we can put all of the things that we do when we do teacher workshops and Girls and Boy Scout stuff and kind of extra telescopes are in that connex there, to where they can be stored. So that was his Eagle Scout project. And the final Eagle Scout project was this young man here put together this is patio. Darren had an idea, because the building is perfectly within a degree or two of north and south, that we could make three cardinal lines, do the two solstices and the equinox line, to be able to have the shadows for the zenith passing of the sun. So we thought, hey, what the heck? So after we got it done, we actually went on equinox. I think we did this in the summertime, so this was fall equinox, and we went to check, and it pretty much, it's not perfectly centered, but hey, it's okay. It's pretty darn close to what for being just an accident that was a happy accident, that the building was pretty well lined up. And you can see the cabling that pulls the roof off onto the gantry that holds the roof there. So this is the building here back in the day, whenever we had first had first had just the building and the walkouts, no planetarium, no benches. This is its stage right now with the open air planetarium and the bricks and everything and our little Connex thing. This sign took me a minute to be able to get. We don't have the place for an awesome sign like you guys have, and for our observatory, but they kept saying, oh, the word observatory is too big, it won't look good on a sign. And so 2017 total eclipse of the sun is happening. Rio Rancho got 65 to 70% coverage, I think. And the guy that is in charge of the signs was going to be taking his family to someplace to go take a look at the total eclipse. I gave him enough solar glasses to be able to, for his whole family. Within another month or so, we had a sign that said observatory and pool, not pool and observatory. I'm like, see, it helps to give people eclipse glasses. It's pretty cool stuff. This is one of the telescopes deployed at night, for the way the roll-off roof works. We've got red lighting all around the observatory. We can turn off turn off these white lights and have the red lighting as well. We've got a machine shop that's here in town that built this pier for us for the 16-inch telescope that we've got. No, it's a 14-inch telescope that we've got. So we put that on the outside of the building. That is right here. Where this is where the telescope is, right here. That's kind of out on the on the building. Then we had our last our last big event was 2019. Dr. Schmidt came out and talked for us again, because it was fixing to be, the 50th anniversary it was the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. So we thought, let's have him back out again. And this little jacket on the back, it says Space Cowboy. I'm like, oh God, because he's a New Mexico native, so he's definitely our space cowboy here. And we've come around to where we're doing, Papa Murphy's Pizza. This was our first indoor event, and it was a bit strange, but I like doing events at the observatory a little bit better. I think it's a little bit, it's because you're out there with the telescopes and with everything. But I was kind of glad whenever that we did this event indoors, because we were sitting there setting up the silent auction and messing around, and all of a sudden we hear these gigantic thunderclaps. In New Mexico, it rarely rains unless you have telescopes out and it's to set up a big event. So it's like, I thought, oh my gosh, thank God we put this inside, because we'd have had all of the silent auction items getting wet and everything. It would have been pretty bad. But we'll try it again at some point, I think, but maybe under a little bit different situation where we're not. I don't know. I'm still up in the air about that on whether we want to do something, something indoors again. It was just, like I said, it was a bit strange. The one thing that I think is a bit strange is that the benches have been on the ground for about 6 years now, and they were supposed to be powder coated, but apparently not. Or they were not powder coated with exterior paint, or maybe the New Mexico sun is just a little bit too fierce for them. This is the company of the gentleman that actually designed the building. He helped us pick all 12 benches up, and we carried them over to a place here in town, and they're being refurbished as we speak, to be able to put them back on the ground. And we're going to get them graffiti coated, because we have been they've been tagged on several occasions, because, like I said, this park is on the western side of the city, and so it's not a really well there's not a whole lot of traffic around the park, which is fine, for what we want to do. But it's also very much susceptible to graffiti, which makes me sad. But the kids that come around and see what we're doing, they're like, "Oh, that's terrible." I'm like, "Yeah." So if you could help us kind of keep an eye on the joint, and be awesome. We're gonna hopefully we had planned. This was supposed to have been last September. Where we were going to name the planetarium benches for Jack. He doesn't have a planetarium. He's got an elementary school named for him here in New Mexico, but not much else that's kind of astronomy related. So we're going to name the benches, the open air planetarium, for him. And we were going to do it last September, and then that got sidetracked because of COVID. We were going to do it this astronomy day, and that's been sidetracked again because of COVID. Because our mass gatherings right now are 10, so we are looking at yeah, that's not going to work. So maybe the week of 17th of July, 17th to 24th for Space Week. But I think it's going to have to probably be September the 11th for it to be able to name the benches in the sundial. Jack again has been very he's been very complimentary of the astronomy club, because we are constantly bringing in kids and doing stuff, kind of like the Baton Rouge club does, where we do a lot of things with kids and outreach and teaching astronomy, and he's very, very pleased with what we're doing. And so he was actually able um find, or just actually more than we need to do our part for recoding the benches. So he's given us a couple $1,000 to be able to help cover our portion of the cost of covering the benches. And the interactive sundial is going to be named for a guy, Mark D. Leonard. He was one of our founding members, and this is a picture of him actually in the sundial, telling time. This is the sign that tells you what to do with the sundial. And he passed away, not this January, but January before, right before COVID actually hit. And so we've been trying to, because we thought this is appropriate to name the sundial for him, because he helped do the math and the calculations to be able to do the line out for that piece of equipment. Well, not piece of equipment, but for that feature at our building. So we're able to honor him as well. So I think that's kind of right and good to do that. Um, so we're still moving forward. We still, COVID be damned. We are going to keep on keeping on. I was super jealous when I saw your Mars facility come up. I'm like, oh, we need that. And so I had seen this shuttle bus at a planetarium conference in Macon, Georgia. The wings all fold in and it goes down the road. I'm like, that would be funny to watch driving down the street. But I would like to have something to be able to get our outreach, be able to carry stuff as we go to the different schools. Whenever we do outreach, we were just gifted an old Star Lab, not the digital ones, but one of the older ones. So we have that now that we're going to set up and kind of figure out we've got 10 cylinders and the Star Lab itself. So, and the planetarium, the space director at our Museum of Natural History said, I will come and do your star shows. I love the Star Lab. I'm like, perfect. I love it. So we've got help and in all different things. So we are slowly coming back together. And if once COVID begins to release its grip on stuff, we are going to definitely get back on the ground and start running a little bit more with our outreach a little bit more. I mean, because we've done so much of it, and most of our people are either educators or have dealt with the school system for a lot of our time. So it ends up where, because we were born out of Rio Rancho High School, because of the observatory, I mean the telescope and stuff there, and the astronomy program, we've continued to be to kind of be outreaching into the community, public and school. What we are having on our next meeting is April the 16th, which is this coming Friday. I've posted on the member page on Facebook the kind of information about our meeting. It's Dr. Michelle Creech Ekman from New Mexico Tech. She studies exoplanets. You guys are welcome to come along and listen. We have a Zoom meeting room that holds 100 people, and we've not even approached half of that yet. So you guys are all welcome to come and listen. She has designed a piece of equipment that helps her study these exoplanets that they're finding out at Tech. And she is absolutely an awesome lady. She's helped some of our students at Sandia Prep with some of their projects and some of their senior experience project kind of stuff that we do as well. So she's very much a scientist that can actually talk to the people, which is an amazing quality to have. And I've got some information if you guys are interested about Alcon. Let me stop sharing and get back to the real world. There. Okay. Yay. Alcon 2021, because it was supposed to be hosted here in Albuquerque, and because they are a little afraid of the situation with COVID, they have made it completely virtual. It is 100% virtual right now, and it's going to be on August the 19th through the 21st with afternoon and evening sessions. They are pushing Alcon 22 back, and one of the keynote speakers will be Harrison Schmidt. So that'll be cool. So you guys will be able to hear him speak. And because of this virtual component that we now have, I bet it's going to be some sort of hybrid. I mean, I think that we would have, we definitely have a kind of a leg up to say, all right, an in person or a hybrid would be awesome, because then you guys could hear Jack, because like I said, he's a really cool guy. He's it's the first couple of times. I met him. I would call his office and talk to Cece, his assistant, and every time and then finally, the phone picks up and it's like Jack Schmidt, and it's like, oh, I can't talk. It's like, hi, Dr. Schmidt. And so after that, we worked together. I mean, I have known the man since Columbia exploded. So I've been talking to him, and we've been working together with different things. And every time we get together, it's getting better, but it's been quite a while. But every time we get together, it's like, okay, Jack, hang on just a second. Okay, fangirl, I'm done. Give me the hug and let's move on. It's like, and he just laughs, and he said, his wife will call me and she goes, yeah, we were talking about you the other day. And I'm like, oh, dear God, it's like, it's like, okay, so, all right, if you had told me when I was working in Baton Rouge and we'd come out to New Mexico and I would meet a moonwalker and be on first name basis with a moonwalker, and be on first name basis with somebody with the Mars. He was on Spirit, Opportunity, and now Perseverance. And if you guys are interested, I can twist his arm and I can have him talk to you guys too. He's right now super busy with Ingenuity, but I know he and his wife works on Venus. He works on Mars. His wife was with the Magellan probes. I'm like, oh, that's too funny. But so we've got some connections out here that be more than happy to share with you guys, because they are absolutely astounding people. And I'm gonna try to get him to come talk to our club probably for our May meeting. And so I will definitely let you guys know, in case he's super busy and can't get to you guys later on. You guys will have two opportunities to hear him speak about his work on Mars. But so, keep looking on the Alcon page. It'll come out eventually. The space science director was talking to the lady who is the current president, I think, or the current somebody who's working with the program. And so I wanted to get the information for you guys, because I knew you guys were interested in what was going on with Alcon. Because we've been trying to do it here, and at least they're keeping it in Albuquerque. One of the things that we're going to do, I can't remember. I think it's the Friday or the Saturday. There's going to be a field trip out to the observatory, and we'll do. And this was a practice run on what the slides look like and stuff for that talk out at the observatory, and kind of be able to do kind of a lunch thing. And Papa Murphy's has already said that they would come out and they would set up the ovens, and we'd have pizza and soda and observing out at the observatory. So that'll be fun. Funny story. The Albuquerque Club thinks that we're weird, which is fine. It's kind of like the New Orleans and Baton Rouge relationship. They're strange and we're not. Kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And we were told one time at Chaco that well, why do you have a club? Why don't you just close up and come join us? Well, because we can see the Milky Way from our backyards and you can't. Nah. And then we have an observatory in town. Your observatory is 90 minutes away from us. No, thank you very much. And like, I would much prefer to have it in my backyard that I can go play with. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. It's okay. But they came out to our observatory one night, because where they were doing their observing was out in the East Mountains, and there was a fire. a forest fire out near the East Mountains, and they came out, and it was one of the very first things we had ever done at the observatory, and all the grass around requires sprinklers, and so the sprinklers start coming on, and there's a system. When the sprinklers come on in the pool, everybody needs to start figuring out, we need to get a hold of the guy or start packing up. And so by the time, they didn't pack up fast enough, and the sprinklers around, I have never seen Albuquerque people pack up their telescopes so fast. It was awesome. And that was like in 2011, 2012, and they have never forgiven us. They won't come out again. I'm like, yay, we fixed it. But it's okay. It's okay. We've gotten better. They pretend that they like us, but that's okay. We know better.
Well, it serves them right for not keeping a tarp in their kit. Or is that a Louisiana thing that I just have
Maybe.
equipment to throw over?
Maybe. But then again, they are also the people that I keep getting phone calls going, yeah, we like what you guys do with the with the Girl Scouts. We tried to talk to the Albuquerque Club and they never talked to us.
Yeah, it's gosh, I think people said the same thing about New Orleans, is that yeah, we tried to call them, but yeah, they won't return our phone calls.
But guys, telescopes, don't touch my stuff.
Yeah, I think when I first took over the club, they sent me an email, and I sent them an email back saying, yeah, hey, great to meet you. And that was it. That was the entire dialogue. That was the let's do something together dialogue between our two clubs. Except for somebody took my name and tried to scam one of their club presidents by saying that he was me and, hey, give me money. To which Merrill got a nasty letter saying, hey, your president is trying to scam us. And to say, no, man, that's how scams work. They say there's somebody else and they ask for money. Like, call the FBI. This is not my problem. Like, I'm not in charge of this asshole. Excuse me.
Your brother in Tanzania, your prince in Nigeria.
I just told him that that's just much. Scott. That's how he does things.
Yeah, this is what was this? Simon or what's his name?
Barry.
Barry. Yeah, that runs the Deep South and all that, and yeah, and so Merrill took care of it and reminded him that no, he's a real shady guy. He's just here as part of the little outreach for the rest of the kids. Like, yeah,
Barry's humor can fit
we
right here. I love Barry. Barry's an awesome guy, but absolutely,
he's come and spoke to the club a couple of times.
Yeah, he's very literal.
Yeah,
very literal.
He strikes me as the brains of an operation. That definitely the logistics guy.
Exactly.
That was pretty much how he struck me. Not the first person you introduce at the party, but the person you introduce at the party when you need to go do something else. But
yeah, organization is his forte, man. He is something else. For being able to organize the Deep South Regional for as long as he has. That's
incredibly impressive that he's able to do that. But I sit around and I think that it's about time that we need to get a star party of our own together, and I'm wondering exactly how to go about doing that, and we're gonna have to start picking his brain. At one point there was some talk of us taking over their fall schedule or their spring schedule when they said that they could have their fall and we could do the spring. And I mentioned that once, and that was the end of it. Hold on, Ben is definitely harassing me. Yeah, I know. It's the. I'll let them. At any rate, we definitely need to get a star party of our own getting it together again, because as nice as it is to have our own little observatory, we don't have your skies. So it'd be a little bit as though the Albuquerque Club had built their observatory in the middle of downtown, and then
yeah. Well, they have one. It's at the planetarium. There is a nice 16-inch Meade telescope at the planetarium that they open up only on Sundays to look at the sun.
Yep, because when I think of staring at the New Mexico sun, what I think is what I need is a 16-inch.
Yes.
I guess
We've done a
not so
couple of things there, but
gotta
it's you know, it's not worth it. I mean, unless you've got a couple of planets up, you really can't see a whole lot because you're right there next to, you know, downtown basically.
But anyway, oh
Cool.
yeah, I'm guessing some of
That's
we're gonna get a
James.
copyright infringement from the television coming off of that. So,
Mute him.
yeah, I'm looking for it. There it is.
Not me.
Yeah, we'll see who's here in a minute. But at any rate, our live stream must have stopped. So, well, I can restart the live stream. Hold on.
I want to come out to the I want to come down to the 40th anniversary thing. So I definitely have, you know, it on my calendar. It'll be in December, right?
I think so. We're actually the meeting portion of the meeting. We're going to have to start kicking around ideas on that. So far, we've got a little. We're going to have to start doing planning for everything on that. And as of now, we only have 2 people on the committee that are interested, and I think one more. Yeah, but we'll have to get into the details as that goes along. And we have big ideas for the future, but yeah, we're also incredibly lazy because we have busy
Well, it's
lives.
not.
It's like that. Yeah, we don't do this for a living. This is a hobby. So some other things eat our time up as well. Okay, but yeah, that was a fascinating look at how you built the observatory, in particular, going through several administrations. And it just goes to show you what a group of dedicated volunteers and activists can do to push forward astronomy in a community and create just an amazing place for the enjoyment of the activity. It's similar to what we've done in Baton Rouge, but yeah, it's to start from scratch. I think we started with the aid of an LSU and the park system and all that, and we did. We were off and running, from what I understand.
Yeah, Meryl and I got the phone calls. Greg called me, and he was like, "Let's do it."
Yeah. Actually, Melanie was the first contact to got the whole ball rolling.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's absolutely amazing that y'all were able to do so much. We're sitting here and we're just now trying to get together our own activism to try and handle light pollution, and we can't seem to get 5 people together to go make phone calls. So I'm absolutely amazed what you've been able to do, and the facilities look great, and I'm nothing if not envious of your entire setup, which is something that you started what 12
in 2019. Yeah. No, I mean, 2009, 1999, whenever we moved out here.
Yep, 20 years. That's an incredible legacy. I think that's the observatory here is pushing right at 25 or 30.
Yeah, 1997 was when it opened.
Yeah.
I was president. Whenever we came out here, it was 99, and that year we came out in August of 99, and that year in December they elected me president, and I did not step down as president until 2018. They would not let me step down until the observatory was finished. I'm like, you people are full of shit.
Well, they better name that observatory after you after that. This is all done. You're going to get co-opted by it's going to be named after that mayor, or it's going to be you're going to get a
Presidente and president for life, and I'm like, you be like full of crap.
Yeah, I think we're going to give that distinction to Ben at the end of the year. I don't know. We just about could. I think he seems to be really good at it. But yeah, I sure as hell know. No, this is absolutely this is not something you want to do for the rest of your life.
No.
But yeah,
I met some awesome people though. It's amazing to think the kind of people that live out here in New Mexico that you think, oh, this is crazy. And you volunteer at the museum and you meet this person. And then all of a sudden the New Horizons team shows up and you get to meet 3 or 4 of the team there. And it's like, wow, she came and talked to our club last month, through Zoom, one of the team members. And it's like, this is crazy. But you guys have any questions or anything? No, just I'm tired. I'm really tired.
I just wanted to say I like the architectural integration with astronomy. That's something that a lot of observatories don't do. And to be able to have the feel, you were able to do it from scratch and choose where you wanted to put things and how you wanted to do it. And, and that just nice little accident, the happy accident with the solstice was fantastic. But to have the sundial there, it's fully integrative. I love it.
Yeah, it took a while. We had the dream from the very beginning. We wanted to do this, because like I said, we have the planetarium downtown, but good grief, why not use the free sky? Free sky and a green laser, and life is good.
No kidding. That's all you need is a jug of wine, a loaf of bread in the sky. Yeah,
we've watched meteor
showers.
showers.
Bit of a paraphrase. Yeah, well, we watch meteor showers from Louisiana. We do that twice a year at HRPO. It's a little different when it's overcast 90 days or 180 days out of the year. And, I don't know what the actual figure is on that, but I think it's probably over 200.
364 and a half.
Yeah, it's every day, but the one phenomenon that requires clouds or something. Right. Yeah,
I think the billing is 360 clear days out here, something like this, except whenever you have Jack Schmidt scheduled or telescopes out or something. Yeah.
Yeah, if I came to visit for an eclipse, I'm sure it would be completely overcast.
Probably.
You'd get a rare hurricane would hit at that time. Yeah.
And when Jack came out the first time, I'm sitting there. I was back. That was, I still get wiggly whenever I talk to him. It's crazy to think, holy cow, he's one of 12. And we opened the door to the building because it was closed because the silent auction was inside. And when you open the door to the building and the moonwalker walks in and goes, wow, this is nice. You go, we did it.
To be fair, it probably was a lot nicer than his accommodations on the moon. But that's